Hello, everybody, and welcome to the live launch of the Dream for All registration portal. Super excited to have you join me. My focus today is to walk you through what steps you have to take in order to get yourself into the portal. So I'm going through this for the first time in 2 years. Did this similar walkthrough 2 years ago. I'm going to do it live. I'm going to talk to you about what I'm doing. I haven't gone in yet this morning, so you're going to see me run this through for the first time. So here's the deal. You need to have a pre-approval letter. You have to have a Dream for All pre-approval letter. It's a very specific form that says you have this letter to get into the Dream for All lottery. It's critical that you have the right letter. So we can get you the letter if you've already applied with us and you've told you you're approved. You should have gotten an email from us with the golden tickets, what we call it, but it's the Dream for All pre-approval letter. You will have that in your inbox. You have to have that done. If you are watching this saying, I don't know, I'm just getting myself registered. If you have not talked to a lender, I'm interviewing to be your lender, okay? But if you haven't talked to a lender, you need to get a pre-approval letter done because you cannot get into the lottery without having that. So scan this QR code right here or type in californiadreamforall.info in order to get the process started. I'm going to start with really quickly that part, just in case you are not already, there we go. Just in case you don't already have your pre-approval letter, when you scan this QR code that's up there, there you go. You will get to this page. You just want to start with apply now in the top right corner. So you're going to go all the way up here to the top right corner. You're going to click apply now. You're going to start the process with us. You're going to fill out all of your information. You're going to send it to us. We'll walk you through all of the steps. That is the first place to start. Get started right there. Okay. But if you already have your Dream for All pre-approval letter, then we're going to go through the process of getting yourself registered. And if you have questions, if you say, first of all, if you have questions, I can answer them today. But today's focused on the portal. If you have questions about how the program works, should I use this? Is this a good idea? Then you're going to want to join my webinar tomorrow night. So I've got a webinar every Wednesday night for the next 3 weeks between now and the portal closing on March 16th. I'm going to be doing a webinar at 7 p.m. every Wednesday night for at least an hour, taking all of your questions, talking about the program from start to finish, talking you out of the program, talking you into the program, really helping you decide, is this a good idea? Now, let's get started. By the way, on my homepage, my team's updating this right now. It's going to have a link somewhere right around in here that is going to tell you, hey, here is the link to go to the CalHFA portal. Here's the portal you're going to go to. So you're going to go to calhfa.ca.gov. If you don't know it, it'll be on my page soon. It'll say it right here. May even already be updated, but maybe not. It's coming up. It'll be on here. You go right here. Right here. So portal is live. Last day to submit is March 16th. Click here to submit your pre-approval. So when you click there, it will take you, nope, my team's not done updating it. Anyway, when it's done, it'll take you right over to this page. And it'll actually take you to this Dream for All page down in the bottom left corner. So you're going to be right here, and it is going to tell you, hey, the California Dream for All, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit, California Dream for All Shared Appreciation Loan. The portal is open now. It is closing Monday, March 16th at 5 p.m. So this video, I'm sure, will be watched by a lot of people over the next 3 weeks. You have to have your pre-approval letter from me and get everything put into this portal by 5 p.m. on March 16th. Do not wait until the end. We are already, I've gotten 25 people reaching out to me in the last hour. It is very busy. I've got a team of 8 people. We're here to take great care of you, and we're ready to take care of you, but don't wait because it's already going to take at least a few days for us to get through the people that are coming in right now, and we don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. So here's where you're going to go. Right here in the bottom right corner, you're going to click Application Portal. So we're going to start here in the application portal, and I'm going to click so right here, it's going to say, hey, California Dream for All portal. I think they're going to require a 2-step login. So I'm going to try logging in first. Oh, let's see. Maybe I'm already there from last time. Yep, I'm there. But because I was in here before 2 years ago, it kept my username. So it just wants me to do a new password to get set up and to get in here. So I'm going to back up really quickly, and I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to, what happens if I go here right now? Okay, cool. So this is the first page you're going to get to once you go in, and it's going to tell you, hey, The Dream for All shared appreciation loan, down payment assistance program. You must pay it off when you transfer the home, repay the original loan, plus a share of the appreciation. You can learn more about the program. Here's what you need to apply. IDs for all borrowers. Now, one borrower on the loan must be a California resident. This is how they're going to know. So IDs, if you happen to both or everybody on the loan has an out-of-state ID, they're going to want proof that you live in state. So that is critical. At least one person must be a California resident at the time that you are registering. You must have your California Dream for All pre-approval letter. That's what you get from me. Okay, so that's what you're going to do, scanning the QR code up top, starting the application process. That's what you get from me. You have to have your parents' information or any foster care documentation if applicable. Remember, the key in this whole portal is it gets you registered for the lottery, but what they're doing is they're double checking to see that you're not lying about being first generation. Now, there's a lot of caveats I'm going to give you through this whole thing. The first thing I want to be very, very clear about is CalHFA said they are cracking down on people who are putting in multiple applications for a household. And the way they're describing a household is the household you buy, not the household you live in today. So if you and your sister both want to buy, and you know that you're going to buy together, and you and your sister live separately right now, CalHFA says you cannot apply separately. They said when in the end, if you're both together on an application, because technically you can add somebody to your loan later after you have the voucher. So some people are saying, well, gosh, there's a YouTube video going around saying, hey, you should have everybody apply by themselves. It doubles your chances of winning. It does. But CalHFA is saying we're going to nullify that. If we see that you added somebody else to your loan later, and we see that that person also applied for a voucher on their own, we're going to nullify the whole thing. I don't know that they're really going to catch that. I'm not telling you to lie. I'm telling you, I don't know if that's just a bunch of words that they're giving to talk you out of or convince you not to do that. I will just tell you that you are not supposed to do it. And they're making it clear it's based on the household you're buying, not the household you are in. So you've got to have your parent information. We'll go through actually all this right now. So IDs for all borrowers. Valid forms of IDs, driver's license, state issued ID, if it's not a driver's license, passports, U.S. passport, military ID, foreign passports are acceptable, your approved visa or green card or EAD, okay? Now, your pre-approval letter is very simple. It is the letter that I'm going to get you. So if you don't have one, scan the QR code or click the link up there. It's not clickable, but type the link in and you'll get to my page and get it started. Here's what they're looking for parents. They're trying to verify that your parents, one person on the loan has to be first generation, okay? Very, very confusing, but it's not that hard. First generation means that one person on the loan has not personally, had their name on anything housing related. No mortgages, no home equity lines of credit, no partial ownership of a home, nothing, anytime in the last 7 years. And their parents, both, don't own a home today, or if they're deceased, didn't own a home the day they died. It is that simple. I was on a call yesterday for an hour with CalHFA. They were talking to all the different scenarios everybody asks, and there is no ifs, ands, whats, or buts. If you said, hey, my mom passed away and they owned a house when she passed away, but my dad is still alive and he has sold that house, and so my parents don't own that house anymore, you're not eligible because one of your parents on the day that they died owned a home. That is the rule. There's no arguing it. Some people say, John, what if I say I don't know who my parents are, even though I know they don't own a home? First of all, you're going to certify here that all the information is true and correct to the best of your ability. So you are committing fraud. The second thing is they're going to hire a private investigation service. That's why 2 years ago, it took 60 days for them to verify who the winners were, because they had to do background checks on all of the winners to see who was in fact a first generation home buyer and who wasn't. So they're going to want your parents' information. They say it may be required. We're going to go in the portal right now and see kind of when it asks for it, but it might want your parents' names and date of birth. They might want their address, and they might want your birth certificate. Now, a lot of people freaked out saying, John, I was born in another country. I can get my birth certificate, but it's in a different language. What CalHFA said is, hey, if you have it and it requests it, upload it. If you can get it translated, great. Most of the time they can get them translated, but if they need you to translate it, they would notify you. So here's the most important thing when you get started. The email address that you put in for registration, that's how CalHFA is going to communicate with you. That's how they're going to tell you whether they need more information, whether, hey, you uploaded your birth certificate, but I need you to get it translated, or hey, I need you to prove to me something here or there. And so that is where it's critical that you give a good email address for yourself. And it's an email that you're going to be checking. That's where your voucher is going to go. That's where your waitlist registration will go. That's where your email that says you're not selected is going to go. And that's where the follow-up emails over the, we think, 60 days, that's what it took last time, for them to do all the background checks. They're going to send out emails to people if they have questions and need more information. Foster care documentation removes the requirement for your parents to have not owned a home today, not own a home today or on the day they died. Okay, so if you spent any time in foster care or institutional care, you should have a foster care verification form or verification letter or court documents. And then we don't care about your parents' ownership situation, but still that person must have not had their own name on anything mortgage or housing related anytime in the last 7 years. All right, so that is it for the paperwork. Now let's log in and look at the actual portal. So here we are. Again, I'm reading this for the first time, so we're going to go through this together. Dear John, welcome to your Dream for All pre-approval, Dream for All applicant portal. So we've got application period, processing review, random selection, and voucher issuance. So everybody is going to be here. Okay, so this stage will stay until we get to March 17th. On March 17th, that's when they start their processing and review. Once they're done with that, they're going to do their random selection. And once they're done with that, they're going to issue the vouchers. Okay, so as they're saying here, application period is the application window. You can create an account and submit the application form. That's where we are. That's what opened up today. Processing review, we talked about. Random selection. During this phase, eligible applicants are randomly placed into the 3 categories: selected, waitlisted, or not selected. Let's talk about the waitlist for a quick second. 2 years ago, they there were 17,000 applicants. They had about 1,700 vouchers to issue in the beginning. They gave out 1,700, which is about 10% of the applicants got a voucher. And then they issued around 3 times that number, about another 30% got on the waiting list. So 40% of the applicants either got selected, got a voucher, or got on the waiting list. Over the next year and a half, coincidentally, all of the people on the waiting list got a voucher and a chance to use it. I say coincidentally because there was new money provided into the program and the state decided to give that new money to all the people on the waiting list. If there's no new money before they end the current run, then everybody won't get a voucher on the waiting list. So there's no guarantee that's going to happen, but it did work out that way the last time, and we're hopeful that it's going to work out that way this time, but there's no guarantee. Okay, if you are not selected, you're not selected. I have a lot of people right now who were not selected in the original voucher 2 years ago that are now trying to get into this period right now. You can reapply in the future. No matter if you got a voucher and couldn't use it because you couldn't find a home or your credit wasn't good enough, or you never got a voucher, you can reapply again in the future. All right, so here is the process. So we're going to go through my application. So we're going to log in here and we're going to look at my application. I'm going to put some real and some fake information in here. So let's see here. All right, so here's the steps through the process. This is where you'll ultimately get your voucher. So this is the portal that the voucher will be loaded into. This is where, hey, I want to withdraw the application. If you want to withdraw the voucher because you got a voucher and you don't want to use it, this is where you would do all of this process. So I'm going to start the voucher application. Now that I'm in, before I get started, read and confirm my understanding of the following Dream for All guidelines. So the first one, I certify that I am the applicant applying for the program and not a third party or real estate professional applying on behalf of the applicant. So I cannot do this for you. My team cannot do it for you. We can certainly talk you through it. If you're freaking out, like I'm on this screen, I don't know what to do, call us. We will help you the best that we can. Understand we've got a lot of people we're trying to help and we're trying to get through. That's why I'm doing videos like this, so I can get as much information out there to as many of you as I possibly can. Any applications created by a third party and not the applicant themselves will be canceled. I certify that I'm the applicant and not a third party. Any applications that are created by a third party will be canceled. Wow, they literally did that sentence twice. All right, next thing. I understand that only one application may be submitted for a specific household. They are making you attest to this, to certify that I understand that. Their definition of household is not where you live today. It's where you're buying. And so if two people apply separately and then they buy together on a voucher, they said that means they will disqualify you if they find that out. That's the key word, if they find that out. All right. I certify no borrower has owned and occupied a primary residence during the previous 3 years. That is a full stop sentence by itself. So all borrowers, none of the borrowers, let's say it this way, none of the borrowers can have owned and occupied a primary home anytime in the last 3 years. And you also could not have lived with your spouse who owned and occupied the primary, their spouse's primary residence anytime in the last 3 years. So a lot of people try that loophole. They're like, well, I'm a first-time home buyer because my spouse owns a house, but I don't own it. Well, as far as CalHFA is concerned, you're not a first-time home buyer. California is a community property state. Even if you granted off your ownership and you did a quitclaim deed, or even if they bought it before you were married and it is their sole and separate property, the state doesn't care. The state said you lived in a house that your spouse owned sometime in the last 3 years, you are not a first-time home buyer. You cannot do this program. So you have to understand that. You have to agree to that. At least one applicant on the application must be a first-generation home buyer. So they're making us certify. There are 12 of these steps, and I'm only on number 5. So again, I want to explain this to you so that if you hear it now, you can just click through because you understand, yeah, John, I'm good on that. That makes sense. So one applicant on the loan. I'm going to zoom in here and see if I can make this bigger for you guys. Maybe that's a little better. Zoom back out. Okay, cool. So at least one applicant on the application must be a first-generation home buyer. That's the key. One person. A first-generation home buyer is 2 things. Both. They must be the person, the home buyer who is first generation, must have not been on title, held ownership interest, or been named on a mortgage to a home. So not on the ownership, not on a loan. It doesn't matter if you weren't both. If you're either one. If you had your name on a house because you co-signed with your parents, or they added you because in case they die, you'd get ownership, your name is on there. You don't qualify as the first generation. Hopefully somebody else on the loan does, because only one person on the loan needs to be first generation. But it's only on if it's a manufactured home. So it says on permanent foundation and owned land. So if it's a manufactured home that was not on land that you owned, this doesn't count. And it only matters in the United States in the last 7 years. So for the one person who is going to be the first generation, and by the way, ideally all of you are first generation, and I'll show you why in a minute. But if the one person, minimum one person, is first generation, that person must not have had their name on title or a mortgage in the United States anytime in the last 7 years, unless it was a manufactured home in a park. And so this is now the second part. So the first part's got to be true, and the second part has to be true. To the best of the home buyer's knowledge, their parents, biological or adoptive, do not have a present ownership interest in a home in the United States. Done. Stop. Right there. So if your parents are alive and they do not have a present ownership in the United States of a home, you're good. You have not had anything your name on anything in mortgage related in the last 7 years. Your parents are both alive and they don't have ownership today. That's all that matters. You're done. Or if your parents are deceased, then they didn't have ownership interest in a home at the time of their death in the United States. Done. So 2 parts. One is about you. One is about your parents. So there's 3 ways to solve the issue about your parents. Number 1, they're both alive and they don't own anything today. Number 2, one or both of them are deceased, and the deceased party or parties didn't own a home the day they died. Done. Okay. Or if you have spent any time in foster care or institutional care, type of out-of-home residential care for large groups of children by non-related caregivers. If you fall in that category, then I don't care about the first 2 parts regarding your parents. I don't care if they're alive and own a home today. I don't care if they're deceased and owned a home the day they passed away. That's the piece about first generation. I understand that. At least one borrower on the application must reside in California. Cool. In order to complete the application, I need a completed Dream For All pre-approval letter from a CalHFA approved lender. That's me. Okay, that's my job. My team is ready. Scan the QR code. Oops, up there, up there, up there. Scan the QR code right there. I will not make a good weatherman because I can't use the green screen thing and kind of point in a different direction. All right, so that is what we do. Start the process with us. We will get you that Dream For All pre-approval letter, and it's got to be a specific letter for the Dream For All program. It cannot be a generic pre-approval letter. It's not a, hey, you're ready to buy a house letter. It's a, hey, you're qualified for the Dream For All program letter. It is on CalHFA's letterhead. It's a very, very specific letter. Okay. Next, in order to qualify for the voucher, I will need to provide my total qualifying income as determined by the CalHFA approved lender, and it does not exceed the income limits in the county I intend to buy. So here's the deal. We'll see in a second. I don't know if they're going to make you pick a county you're going to buy in. I am positive that you can change that. I am positive once you get a voucher, you can buy in any county across the state, but your job has to be portable to that county, like you're a remote worker or you are a truck driver and it doesn't matter where you leave from, or you get a new job that is within commute distance of there. So you can live anywhere in the state. You can take it to any county, but the county that you buy in, your income has to be below the limit for that county. If you think your income's too high, call me. There's kind of Lego parts I can play with on the income to see if there's a way that we can make it work for you within the guidelines. All right, so that's the piece on income. Here's the next part that you have to understand. Income limits are subject to change. Income limits will be determined based on the income limits at the time your rate is locked. This program is so full of moving parts. Because not only is the income limit going to change, I'll let you in on a secret, it changes in June of every year. So in June, the income limits are going to change. I didn't say increase. I didn't say increase. Now, they usually increase, but that's no guarantee. You could just be under the income limit today. You could get a voucher on May 15th. It's not going to be May 15th. I don't know. That's a guess. Let's pretend you do. You get a voucher on May 15th, and then you find a home on June 20th. But on June 15th, and I don't know when in June it'll happen, on June 15th, they changed the income limits and the income limit fell. You cannot use your voucher. You can't. Unless we can find a way to shave income, you cannot use your voucher. It's just the rules. Now, if your income goes up or down between now and then, the income doesn't matter what you make today. It matters what you make at the time that we lock in your loan. So I am trying to predict today what everything's going to look like down the road. I have no clue what interest rates are going to be or what house prices are going to be or what your income or your credit score or your debt load is going to be. And I certainly don't know what the income limits are going to be. All right. So we have to agree to that. I understand the registration portal is completely randomized. Even though I'm filling out this application, there's no guarantee I'm going to get a voucher. And this is only an entry for an opportunity to be selected. It's conducted to ensure fairness and transparency in the process. If I'm selected for the voucher, it is not guaranteed I'll qualify for the loan. And finally, yes, I have all my documentation ready to go as specified in the portal. Let's go. All right, so now they're going to ask for information. So they're going to start with the applicants. Then we're going to go to borrower information, borrower eligibility, attestation, and then submit and review. And it looks like I only have 2 hours to submit or save. Otherwise, the work will be lost. And co-applicants can't access the application until you do. All right, so I'm going to start here. You can add applicants to your application to help you qualify. Applicants are people who will be on your loan and share financial responsibility. They may help you meet income or credit requirements. They have to live in the home with you. They have to be first-time home buyers. There is no co-signer. Mom and dad can't co-sign for you while they have their own place that they're renting. Because again, if mom and dad own a home, you have a different problem. You're not first generation. So no co-signers, but if they're going to live with you, that's fine. We can remove people from the application as well. So it's saying adding and removing applicants. Even after you submit this, we can remove applicants or add applicants once you get the voucher. Don't freak out. Literally, we're just trying to get you in. I have some people who their co-signer, their co-borrower, their spouse, their significant other, their credit sucks. And so they're like, John, how can I get in on the lottery? Well, you can get in on the lottery by yourself, but your personal income only qualifies you for 200 grand. And they say, John, Come on, seriously. There is nothing you can buy for $200,000. I'm like, I totally agree. There's nothing you can buy for $200,000. But we can change that later. So we can work on your spouse's credit and get it higher. And maybe you don't get a voucher right away. Maybe it takes a year to get a voucher. And by then the credit is higher. You need to get into the lottery now is the key. So we need to get you into the lottery. Once you're in, we can add that person back in. We can delete somebody off and change it to somebody else as long as the people you're adding are first-time home buyers. As long as people you're adding are going to live in the home. And if you delete somebody, you still have to have one of the first generation home buyers that have been validated. If there's nothing you hear me say, this piece I'm about to say about first generation and who is validated is critical. So I'm going to get to that in just a second. So I'm making you stand by. All right. So important notes, make sure their name is spelled correctly. Enter a valid email address because that's how they're going to get notifications. Everybody must meet program requirements. Applicants can only be on one active application. Applicants who are selected for access will receive an email with login. This will allow them to complete their information, but you will be able to edit and update your application, including those to whom you invite. Okay, so there's a lot of moving parts there. So I have got myself as the primary borrower. If I want to add someone, I can add a borrower and put their name in here. So I'm going to put Fred Smith at fred@smith.com. And I am the primary borrower, so that's fine. I can't change that. And I can say, do I grant them access to log in? That will send them an email. You do not have to log them in. You can fill in their information or they can fill in their own. So you don't have to grant them access. If you would like any of your other applicants to have access to the application, select that box, and they will get credentials provided by email, and they can complete their personal information. Or you can just do it yourself. So you do not have to have them have access. All right. Notification language. So you can get notifications in whatever language. Well, what have I got? 5 languages that you can get your notifications. Okay. All right. So I've got my applicants on here. It's me and it's Fred. So by the way, you can add a lot more. I think 4 is the most. Nope. It lets me keep going. Wow. It really lets me keep going. Wow. It's not stopping me at all. Okay. Typically, from a mortgage lending perspective, we're not going to allow more than 4 people on a loan in most cases. So let's try and limit it to 4. Okay. All right. So so it's going to start at the top here, my personal information. I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to get rid of Fred because I don't want to have to go through 2 people's info. All right. So we're going to go next. And I'm going to, actually, I do want Fred on there. Sorry, because I want to show you what it's going to look like with the whole joint people. So Fred Smith at fred@smith.com. Perfect. All right. Hit next. All right. So go back to the top. Here's John's information. So this must match my government ID. So I was born yesterday. Let's see if it'll let me do that. February 23rd. Let's see if it's got some restriction here stopping me from doing that. Nope. Oh, yeah, I have to be over 18. Okay, fine. So I was born in 2020. Oops. Perfect. All right. I'm over 18 now. Yep, my primary number, 209-423-1482. And why is it not happy with that? Yeah, it should be fine. So let's do that. Okay, cool. All right. Is the mobile number same as my primary? Yes. Government ID. I've got to upload there. I'm not going to do that, but it is telling me what the IDs are that are acceptable. And then it wants my address. So I'm going to put my office address, 2220 Douglas. Suite 220, Roseville, California, and 95661. And county we are in is Placer. Oops, Placer. Let's just scroll down here and find Placer. Okay, mailing address is the same. Demographic, ethnicity, decline to answer, race. Doesn't even give me another choice. Oh, yes, it does. Decline to answer. You need to answer it. I'm just leaving all of this. Do you have any student loan debt? So here's the thing. Everybody freaked out about this 2 years ago. Oh my God, if I have student loan debt, is that going to disqualify me? No, it's the state tracking information because they can. Okay, I hate to say it, but the state wants to know, hey, we helped 500 people who have student loan debt buy a home and they wouldn't have been able to do it otherwise. I don't know why they're asking for it. It doesn't hurt your chances. It doesn't help your chances. It doesn't change anything, but it is required. So no, I don't have any student loan debt. Have you ever served in the military? No, I have not served in the military. It does not change your outcome. They want the answers, but it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't give you a better chance or a worse chance, but you have to answer it. Are you the legal spouse, legal partner, parent, or child, or person who served in the military? Why, yes, I am. My dad served in the military. Beautiful. All right. I consent to this agency transmitting a name, email address to the Department of Veterans Affairs for the purpose of additional information on veterans benefits, which I may be eligible. I understand this consent is valid for 12 months. I don't remember seeing that before. I mean, I'm not going to get a VA loan. I'm not a veteran, so I don't really care to do that. You can do what you want to do in regards to that piece. I'm trying to zoom in a little bit here to make it bigger for you guys. All right, here's the deal. First generation home buyer. I certify I am a first generation home buyer. So again, I'm saying, am I a first generation home buyer? Only one person has to be first generation. If I say no, this bottom part was blank. If I say yes, it's going to want the information about my parents. So it's going to start with the automatic get out of jail free card, which is, did you spend any time in foster care or institutional care? If the answer is yes, you're done. Okay, it just wants proof. If the answer is no, then it's going to say, great, then I need to know about my parents. And so do I know about them? It's unknown. Or no, they're deceased, or they live out of the country. Okay, so if I put unknown, the name part disappears. Do not lie and say, I don't know my parents. They're going to find them. They're going to want a copy of your birth certificate. If you say that it's unknown, they're going to want a copy of your birth certificate. And then they're going to search and they're going to find your parents. So don't think that's going to get you out of reporting or showing that your parents own a home. But if you truly do not know who your parents are, you can say unknown. If they are deceased, then you need to give them the name, first name, last name, your parents' birth date, the parents' date of death, and you can say unknown. If you don't know that, it'll let you move forward. And then their last known address. So you are filling out information about both of your parents. So everybody, well, I mean, Adam and Eve, everybody had to have two parents at some point in time. So there are some circumstances. I fully understand that from a birth certificate perspective, you only have one parent. There's some medical reasons behind how that can happen. And my point is, if you only have one parent, then you would explain that. You'd probably put unknown and you upload your birth certificate and it shows only one parent. And then the second parent is unknown because you really don't have a second parent. So at this point, you are only required to upload your birth certificate if one or both of your parents' information is unknown. If your parents' information is known, it's recommended to provide your birth certificate to speed up the process. Okay, so remember, birth certificate is only required if any of your parents' information is unknown. If you know your parents' information, they still recommend you upload your birth certificate, PDF and JPEG only. Okay, so here's all of that information. I'm going to, for the purpose of getting through here, I'm going to say that my parent is unknown and my parent is unknown. That way I don't have to fill out any more of the information. I am now going to go to the next screen. So I filled out the borrower information. I filled out the applicant. Now, oops, I didn't go to the other applicant. So let me zoom back out just a couple inches here because I got to do Fred. So I've got mine. I still don't know why it doesn't like that date. Okay, so let's do 1990. Like, I'm still over 18. I don't know why that's an issue. Anyway, I'm well over 18. All right, so let's go to Fred Smith. This is where it's critical that you're able to mark both of you as first generation. This is new for 2026. Okay, so what happened in 2024 is you had to pick, is John the first generation or is Fred the first generation? Remember, only one of you needs to be first generation. But what if one of you decides you don't want to be on the loan later? Maybe that person's credit goes up and you no longer qualify with both of you together. Maybe that person's credit goes down or their debts go up, or you break up and you decide, you know what, we're not staying together, we're not friends, we're not spouses, we're not whatever, and so you separate. Well, the problem is in 2024, you could only pick one of the two, three or four people. Only one of them could be marked as the first generation person. which means if you had to pick one, now you can pick all. Remember, only one must be first generation, but you'll want to select for all of you because you don't know what's going to happen in life. You don't know what's going to happen with credit or income or living situations or anything else. And so pick everyone who is first generation, select each person as first generation. So I'm going to put for each person, John is first generation, and then I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to click on Fred. And again, Fred can fill out his own information if I emailed it to Fred. But Fred is able to go over here and say the same thing. And Fred should say, yes, Fred is first generation as well. Okay, so that information is critical. Make sure you understand that. Now let's go on to eligibility. So pre-approval information. I certify that I have received a Dream For All pre-approval letter from a CalHFA approved lender specifically for the Dream For All program that proves that I meet all of the guidelines, including income limits, first-time homebuyer status, and first-generation homebuyer status. You upload that right here. So you have to check that box, and you must upload the letter from me. Yes, you can use a letter from somebody else, but nobody else is as good as I am. So get the letter from me. We will take great care of you through the process, and then it will ask, so right now, who's the California resident? Only I am. Why? Because Fred didn't say where he lives yet. We skipped that part. Now they want to know more information. Expected household size. So it doesn't matter. You say, oh my gosh, does it change my ability to qualify if I change my household size? It doesn't matter. It's demographic statistics the state is trying to capture. So don't freak out and worry about, oh my gosh, John, is it going to change my ability to qualify if I am showing as a certain size family? It doesn't matter. There are down payment assistance programs that it matters. That it matters whether you are your income limit changes based on whether you're a family of one or a family of 8. That is not applicable on this program. It doesn't matter your family size. The income limit is the same for everyone, the same for everyone. If you want to look up the income limits, what I would suggest is go to my website, the one that is floating up above right over here. And it's probably been updated by now with the information saying the portal is open, but maybe not. Anyway, right up here on the top is my calculator. You can go to my calculator and register for my calculator, create a free account. It'll give you all of the income limits. You can plug in your income, plug in your debts, run numbers to figure out what you qualify for, play with all of it ahead of time, and then connect with me to get your pre-approval done. But if you want to know, hey, is this even going to be worthwhile? What do the numbers look like? What's it going to cost me long run? Join me tomorrow night. Every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, I'm doing, every Wednesday night until March 16th, I am doing a webinar on the program, and I'll go through all of this with you. But let's get back over here and right here. All right, so expected household size doesn't matter. You must certify right here. I certify all borrowers or first-time homebuyers. Remember, we went through this in the beginning. The first-time homebuyer is about 3 years. Everybody on the loan has to agree, it has to be true, that they have not lived in a home that they owned or their spouse owned anytime in the last 3 years. That is the definition of first-time homebuyer. I am right now certifying, yes, that's true. Who are my first-generation homebuyers? It's confirming for you so that you don't go back later and say, oops, oh my gosh, I got it wrong. It isn't that, I put the wrong person on there. You are able to confirm right here who it is saying you have said are the first-generation homebuyers. Beautiful. All right, so I'm going to hit next. It is now going to take me to the attestation. We are almost done. So you have to attest. I certify I'm the only applicant applying for this specific household, meaning the person who's co-buying with you, Fred, can't apply for himself and you apply. I certify the total income determined by lender does not exceed the income limits for the county in which I'm purchasing. That's kind of a silly certification because your income will change, the limits will change. It's kind of silly that they're asking you to do it. I'm being, I have a better word to say than silly, but I'll leave it at that. But they want you to certify that. Fine. I understand income limits are subject to change. Of course. I understand the Dream For All program is a random process. I understand that if I'm awarded, it's not a guarantee. These are basically a lot of the same warnings you had to do in the beginning that you now have to attest to at the end. So you go through all of this. You have to check every one of these boxes. So you cannot proceed until you've checked all of the boxes. Once you've checked all the boxes, we are hitting next, and we're in the home stretch. So basically, it's saying, hey, John, you're in trouble. Your form is only 92% complete because I didn't upload my government ID. Let's see here, got my addresses in here. I got all of that stuff filled out. Ooh, Fred, Fred, God, I probably should have picked a different cosigner. Fred's a little bit of a slacker. He's 90% of his stuff hasn't been filled out. Don't be Fred. Okay, it's the most important thing I can tell you. Don't be Fred. So Fred has a lot of information missing: his ID, his birth date, his phone number, all the demographic questions they want to know. Eligibility is only 40% complete because we're missing the pre-approval letter and the expected household size and my birth certificate, and then all the terms and conditions. You're basically reviewing everything all over again to make sure that you agree with all of it. Once it is 100% done, you click submit. That's it. Once it is 100% done, you click submit. I'm going to go backwards really quickly in case you're catching at the end. Feel free to go back and watch this all over again. It's great for my YouTube stats. Kind of kidding, kind of not. But how you get here, you're going to start by making sure you have a pre-approval letter. So if you don't have a pre-approval letter, scan the QR code up above or type in the URL. You'll get to my page. And once you get to my page, which is this one right here, you're going to click apply now, and it's going to take you right here, and you're going to start the home ownership journey. And then you're going to go to the CalHFA Dream For All page. So you're simply going to go to calhfa.ca.gov. And once you're on that page, you're going to click on Dream For All. And then on the right side over here, you're going to click on the application portal. That is how I got to where we are. I've walked you through every single question you're going to have to answer. It is really not that hard. The most important thing I'm going to tell you, if you have questions, by the way, now is a good time for you to post. If you're watching live, if you're watching recorded, post comments. We will try and get back to them. This one is busy. There's a lot of people that are applying this year. We are busier than we were 2 years ago. I think there's more knowledge about the program, more people that have been waiting for it to come back. The bad news is that means there's going to be fewer, I think, that your chances of winning are going to drop. It's not going to be 10% because I feel like we're going to have more than 17,000 people applying, but that's just my own feeling based on the number of people. I already have 60 people who have a golden ticket. In 2024, I had 85 people who had golden tickets. So I think we're going to far surpass that 60 number that I had back, that 85 number that I had back in 2024. So if you have questions, post right now. If you want to get the process started and you don't have questions, or let me be clear. Every lender is busy right now. Most lenders are a single person doing the job, and those lenders are having a really hard time. The CalHFA has a portal they'll refer out lenders through, and there's a lot of lenders who have paused themselves and said, I'm too busy. I have too many people I'm trying to call back. I have a team of 8 people, myself and 7 other absolutely amazing individuals. And so when I say we're busy, we are, but we're staying on top of it. And we can take great care of you. But what I'm trying to do is to communicate in larger groups like this so that you can get your questions answered here. Because I bet of the 28 people that we have watching live right now, that 3 or 4 of you have the exact same question. So if you have the question, ask it here. And that way we help answer the question for everybody. That's why I'm doing the Wednesday night webinars at 7 p.m. It's all about Q&A. And then every Monday at noon, I'm doing another live stream talking about a specific component of the Dream For All program to help educate you on the program. But if you want to get started, you need to start the application process. We are running out of time to have a conversation. I still have time. You can book a call with me. It's on my account. It's on my link. You can click it and book a call with me. And I'm happy to talk with you if you have questions, if you're unsure if you're going to qualify, if you're unsure it's a good idea. But those are also good things we can talk about in these live webinars. So I want to end with one very, very important thing. I am interviewing for the job of being your lender. I don't get paid by YouTube. I wish I did. I'm not Mr. Beast. So I don't get paid by YouTube. I do this to educate you. I have a lot of people who told me in 2024 they wouldn't have been successful in buying a home if it wasn't for me, and yet I didn't do their loan. And I'm okay with that. But the truth is I'm interviewing for the job of being your lender because I'm not getting paid for giving information. I will happily give information even if you don't use me. I'll happily answer your questions even if you don't use me. But if you're working with someone who can't answer your questions and you have to come to some stranger on the internet who's putting out YouTube content because you trust him more than the person that you're working with, maybe, just maybe, you're working with the wrong person. That's my pitch. I am focused on taking great care of you no matter what. I'm going to be here to serve you. My team is ready, willing, and able to go. So start the process, log into my website, start the application process now. If you already have a golden ticket, get in there and get registered now. Do not wait until the end. Who knows if CalHFA's website could crash that Monday afternoon and now you can't get yourself in there. Who knows? All I know is that I want to help you to achieve your goal of home ownership, whether it's through this program or through something else. I want to be here to take great care of you and anyone that you trust to send my way. So if you know somebody else who's looking to buy, whether it's a different program than Dream For All, I do pretty much every loan program out there, including refinancing. And I am interviewing for the job of taking great care of you and anyone that you trust to send my way. Doesn't look like we have any questions, so I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful day. I'll see a lot of you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Scan this QR code up here, and you can click the link right in the middle to register for that live stream. We won't be talking about the portal registration. We'll talk about the program, the pros, the cons, the rules, how it all works, what you have to pay back. I'm going to cover all of it. We'll go through my Dream For All calculator. If you haven't gotten the calculator yet, you need to get the calculator. You can scan right here and click the QR, or click right on the top, and it's going to say calculator. Create an account. You can put in all of the information about your income, potential debts you pay off. It's very well built. I built it myself, and it was really accurate in helping you figure out your options. Guys, that's all I got for you. Hope everybody has an absolutely wonderful day, and we'll talk to you all soon. See you all tomorrow night at 7, and get those applications started. Bye-bye.